Today we are focusing upon the initial feature of the trials. We know that the trials under the Code of Criminal Procedure are initiated with the initial cognizance of offences under Section 190 of the Code of Criminal Procedure by the magistrate. There are three different forms in which the cognizance is taken. First is as a complaint case. Second is as a police report. And third is on the personal information of the magistrate. It may be supplied by some person or it directly comes to the knowledge of the magistrate. So, complaint case, police report case, and personal information case are the three different ways in which the cognizance is permissible, is lawfully taken under the Code of Criminal Procedure. Now, this cognizance which is taken ultimately is to be put up on trial. There are four different types of trial procedures in the Code of Criminal Procedure. One is a summary trial procedure, other is a summons case trial procedure, then it is a warrant case trial procedures, and then there is a sessions trial procedure. These are four different procedures with respect to the offenses. The first value of categorization is that by summary trial, it means a very, very less degree of severeness of the offense, means of lesser degree offense, where punishment as well is a small punishment. The summons trials take us up to 2 years of punishment, and warrant trials take us up to 5 years, or say up to 7 years also in the situations. And the session trials are where the punishment could be the life imprisonment, the death, and other imprisonment portions as well are there. Therefore, while we have to approach the Code of Criminal Procedure for imbibing the values of justice delivery system, criminal justice delivery system under the four corners of the Code of Criminal Procedure, then we have to be face to face with these broad categorization. So when we will take, say, a complaint case, then from complaint case, it may become a summary tribal case, it may become a summons case, it may be warrant trial case, and ultimately it also may be as the sessions trial case. Therefore, the complaint in terms of which the cognizance is taken by the magistrate may, after certain steps, become as trials of any of these four procedures depending upon the offense for which the complaint is. Now, police report as well is and can be with respect to any category of these trials. However, some conditions have been put that when it is found that the police report has been filed with respect to a case which is not cognizable case, then it will automatically become a complaint case. So the police officer who files a police report and it is determined by the court that it is not with respect to the cognizable offense, then that police officer will become complainant and the police report will become a complaint. The third category of the personal information has one specific value as that when magistrate takes cognizance on his personal information, then he is to at the outset give an option whether offense is to be tried by the magistrate himself or the requirement of the other party, say of the accused, is that it shall be tried by some another court, then it is submitted with this request by the magistrate to the chief judicial magistrate, and then ultimately the same stands entrusted to another court. So in that case, this information of the magistrate as well becomes a complaint. As such, complaint is the basic mode of initiation of the criminal proceedings. As we know, in case of police report as well, the complaint initially is lodged with the police, designated as first information report under section 154 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. In any case, the initiation is as a complaint, and the definition of complaint is given in section 2D. As such, we have to be face to face with the values and conditions as well as the features of the complaint being defined and accepted by the Code of Criminal Procedure. And it reads as that complaint means any allegation made orally or in writing to a magistrate. So it is an allegation. It may be oral, it may be in writing. And when it is oral, then naturally the magistrate will reduce it into writing or help the informer to reduce it into writing, or ask the informer that let him get it reduced into writing and put it as a complaint. So complaint is an allegation, and it is submitted before a magistrate with a view to his taking action under this code. So complaint is a formal request with the magistrate to take action. Simple information that there has been offense and there being no request for taking action as such may become an information of clause C of section 190. Magistrate, any person giving information to a magistrate or any information coming to the knowledge of the magistrate, and magistrate considering it that it be of such a category or gravity or situation that cognizance shall be taken at the discretion of the magistrate himself. So the difference between information and complaint is that in a complaint there is a specific request that action be taken thereupon. So complaint is a set of allegation of facts with the request for action to be taken under this court, and then the request for action is that some person, known or unknown, has committed an offense. However, it is specifically mentioned here, it does not include a police report. So police report has been put in a distinct category, and we know in subclass B of section 190, the cognizance is upon a police report. So complaints and police reports have been segregated, and subsequently we will know that there are some procedural steps as well which are of distinctive features for the trials on complaints and on a police reports. Now for it, if we proceed further with the definitions of a summons case and a warrant case in 2W and 2X of section 2 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, it defines summons case means a case relating to an offense not being a warrant case. So it is a complementary to the definition of a warrant case. Warrant case means a case relating to an offense punishable with death, imprisonment for life, or imprisonment for term exceeding 2 years. So impliedly here, when it is beyond 2 years, so up till 2 years will be included in the definition of a summons case. So from here it can be inferred that the offenses for which imprisonment is up till 2 years are making a summons case class. So the summons case procedure as such is the procedure for trial of offenses for which punishment up till 2 years provided. So from here, in terms of this definition, we can determine as that the procedure for summons cases means this procedure for the offenses for which punishment only up till 2 years is provided by law. Now, in this context, in this background, we have to proceed to have a specific determination about the conditions requisite for initiation of proceedings. These are conditions and these are requisite. So without these conditions, the cognizance of offenses is not permissible under the Code of Criminal Procedure. So if proceedings are to be initiated for taking cognizance of offenses by the magistrates, then we have to bring ourselves in one or the other clause of section 190, that is as by complaint on the police report on the personal information. In this background now, let us visit the other features of the trials, means other features which will follow with the step of cognizance by the magistrate. Now, it is section 200, which mentions, it is under chapter 15, complaints to magistrate. So, the clause 1 of 90 category, when complaints are filed, then with respect to it, chapter 15 provides that first step is examination of complainant. So complainant has done his duty by filing a complaint, and the complaint by definition is a request for the magistrate to take cognizance of it. So in compliance with that request, the section 200 comes into operation, and the magistrate is to examine the complainant. A magistrate taking cognizance of an offense on complaint. So when complaint is filed under section 190 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, then under section 200, magistrate shall examine, and that too on oath. So the complaint as such is not having any specific condition that it shall be on affidavit or it should be under Solomon on formation. So the complaint in writing or oral or in writing, that complaint, when is to be taken cognizance of the offense, then it is that first the complainant is examined on oath. Now it is here where the sanctity will get attached to the facts of allegations. So the substance, the gravity, the legal validity for the assertions and the further steps for the magistrate to take cognizance is to follow from the statement on oath. So we know when the statement is made on oath, And if it is a false statement, then it is specifically provided that he is to be punished. So making a false statement on oath in itself is an offense. As such, here is a precaution. Here is a legal precaution for the cognizance. As we know that liberty and life of Indian citizen cannot be conditioned, restricted, deprived, put to prejudice, put to hardship, because it is a fundamental right. Now, it can be done so only by a procedure prescribed by law. So it is here the procedure that after the complaint, the statement of the complainant on oath is to be recorded. So it is this statement on oath which in fact becomes the basis of an cognizance. Complaint is the initiation step, but the basis of cognizance by the magistrate is the statement on oath, the examination on oath. And then there are provisions. It takes us to section 204, which is a state that if in the opinion of the magistrate taking cognizance an offense, there is sufficient ground for proceeding. Now, from where will follow the grounds are sufficient or not? Only from the examination of the complainant. And further, when we'll examine the other connected clauses, say of section under 202, where even the witnesses' statements can be there, some other information could be there. So the magistrate is to form an opinion to the satisfaction of law that cognizance of offense is to be taken as there are sufficient grounds. It is here where the sufficiency of grounds is to give wide open difference of opinions with respect to the interpretation of the facts deposed in the statement by the complainant or the connected information which is there. But however, up till this stage, the procedural safety is that the magistrate is to satisfy himself and is to come to the opinion that the facts deposed before him on oath and the connected material makes sufficient grounds for proceeding. So it is a precaution before one proceeds. And the first step of proceeding is to issue a process. And these processes as well have been classified, categorized as per the nature of the offenses and the nature of the category of the cases as summons cases and warrant cases. So in summons case, it is provided he shall issue a summons for attendance. However, in the warrant case, he may issue a warrant. It is not necessary that in a warrant case, he shall always issue a warrant. He may issue a warrant. So the difference between the summon and the difference between the warrant is to be appreciated. And here it also is to be appreciated how the particular category of offenses which makes summons cases, it shall be the summons. So in summons cases, first process to be issued by the magistrate on his opinion of existence of sufficient grounds, the permissible process is a summon. However, in warrant case, the law vests a discretion with the magistrate to issue a summon or to issue a warrant. In practical terms, the difference is that in summons, it is just a simple information given for appearance on such and such date before such and such court at such and such time and place. However, in case of warrant, there is an additional strictness, firmness, that he can be asked to give a surety for his appearance, or even it can be a order to produce him in custody. So here bailable warrant and non-bailable warrant concept comes in. So when warrant may be issued, then this warrant may have a condition that the executing officer may take the surety for appearance, which is called a bail. And it may be a non-bailable when in every situation the concerned person is to be produced physically before the court. Therefore, though at this initial situation there appears to be as if there is a little need for such difference in the processes, but ultimately when we will be face to face with the realistic situations of the trials, then we will be satisfied that this distinction is required. This distinction, when is there, then there is a stage that the complaint stands filed, complaint stands examined, magistrate has formed an opinion, magistrate is satisfied that there are sufficient grounds to summon, and once the person summoned will become an accused, we say, against whom the allegations are there, appears before a court, then the real determination will follow that in which category of trials the further steps are to be taken in respect of the offense for which cognizance has been taken by the magistrate upon a complaint or upon a police report or in the third situation itself. Here in this context, section 209 is that when in a case instituted on a police report or otherwise, when it is said otherwise, it will carry both the situations of complaint as well as the personal information class C stage of section 190. The accused appears or is brought before the magistrate. Appears implies here in compliance with the summons, and brought on the face of it is brought under a warrant, and it appears to the magistrate. Again, here the word is appears to the magistrate that offense is triable exclusively by the Court of Sessions. It appears on the face of it. So once it appears that the case is going to be session triable, then it is to be committed. To commit would mean to order to appear before the Court of Sessions for further trial proceedings. Now, the procedural distinctiveness in case of sessions case will be before us from in the very first section of the session tribal procedure of the Code of Procedure. It is that the prosecutor is to conduct that trial. So, in sessions case, may it be upon a complaint or may it be upon a police report, the same after the commitment is the domain, prosecution domain of a prosecutor. However, in summons case, in warrant case, the complainant is to continue to be the prosecutor. It is here where we have to sit comfortably and to well appreciate as to how under our justice delivery system in the situation of the session trial cases, it is the state which comes into play, takes over an entire responsibility of prosecution as such vests in the prosecutors, means in the state. It is this feature which deserves to be appreciated, and this feature as such being the first feature, it shall be imbibed well, and the rest of the features will be appreciated in the coming session. Thank you.